Alrighty, so maybe on your campus today, you're sitting next to one of the most talented individuals on your campus, but he's working for free. And he makes no money, he doesn't get paid for what he does, he doesn't get any stipends in cash for the amount of time that he has spent making money for that university. Why is that? Who is this person? It's your typical college athlete, from the tennis player to the football player to the basketball player. And these college athletes are receiving no pay for the time and the sacrifices that they're making in order to help your university to provide a source of entertainment, a source of income, and a source of enjoyment for all. So to understand why these athletes need to be paid today to play for their sport, and why that most talented individual in your English class, your speech class, is getting no money for what he's doing, we'll look into the struggle and the time commitment that college athletes are now required each day, required by law and NCAA to receive those possible scholarships that very few athletes do receive. We'll have to look at the school and the NCAA as a whole and the money that they generate because of a certain sport, and that money that they could give to their athletes to benefit the athletes instead of making them billionaires and millionaires. And we'll come up with a possible future outcome that could be better for the athletes and still benefit the schools and the NCAA. So to start things off, we're looking at the time and the struggle that these athletes have to commit themselves to daily. As a personal college athlete during season, no one has time for a job. You have very little time to even study to keep that GPA to make you eligible to receive that possible scholarship that, like I said, very few college athletes receive. According to a recent study done by the NCAA, there's only 4 sports in the NCAA that offer full-ride college athletic scholarships. Includes football, men's and women's basketball, and volleyball. And that scholarship only amounts to $12,000. And if you take out, on average, and if you take out those 4 sports that offer full rides, the average scholarship amounts to about $8,000. And one might say, hey, the average college kid has to work a part-time job to receive that money. Well, while the average college student is receiving a wage for his work, he's also receiving experience and a resume builder for their possible future job applications that can propel themselves in the future for a higher income, a higher paid position. These scholarships that we all talk about, and is a big argument as why college athletes shouldn't get paid. Not every college athlete is on a scholarship, and at many smaller schools, many kids are receiving their books for a semester paid for, or very little money to compensate for their activities and their commitment to the universities. As many athletes you've heard, maybe they're hungry, they don't have enough time for a job. Well, this is a time struggle and a thing that the NCAA has created itself. In the off-season alone, the NCAA has required and allowed 20 hours of participation that the coaches may enforce and require upon their student athletes. And this is in the off-season alone. In the regular season, there is no commitment, but it is monitored to be under 40 hours, which is a lot, and I've never come across a coach or a review that has said a coach has required this more of his athletes. But this time commitment alone is enough to maybe persuade you to pay a college athlete a cash compensation for their time to allow them to eat something else other than McDonald's or ramen noodles. Secondly, we'll look at the school itself and the money it generates from an individual sport, and the NCAA as an institution and program and how much money they have made off of college athletics. So the school itself makes money off ticket sales, off of advertisements, off of gear, off concessions, and all this money, where does it go? It goes right back into the hands of the leaders and the administrators that work behind the scenes, that aren't on the field competing, working for no money for a possible scholarship or nothing at all, just because they love the game. And yes, college athletics is an opportunity to further your love for a sport, but this love for the sport can only go so far when college athletes cannot provide themselves a suitable life and without money to help them buy food, rent, things like that. So while this school is generating millions and millions of dollars, one might argue how the school is going to physically pay for this wage that these athletes will compensate for. A recent study done after the scandal of the Miami athletic office after recruiting violations and possible stipends that were regarded as illegal by the NCAA, that it would cost each school around $200 million a year to pay their college athletes. And yes, this is a very large amount, but to many people, to many institutions that generate millions and millions of revenue in one single game day. Take your beloved Cornhuskers, for example. They generate millions in revenue per day, or per game, off of ticket sales alone, not regarding that $5 piece of pizza that tastes like cardboard at the concession stands. And the NCAA itself signs contracts like the March Madness with ESPN, ABC, and NBC to allow them to film their games, to provide for advertisements on their channels, commercials, and generates revenue for them, but no one else. Goes to the administrators and the people on the board, the people who get it to happen. But what about the Tar Heels that won the national championship this year? Their head coach alone will receive a six-figure raise for winning the national championship, paid for by his university. And what do his players get? Maybe a couple t-shirts, a hat, new pair of shoes, a couple new basketballs. But other than that, the athletes receive nothing, no glimpse of money that they have helped generate from their hard work, dedication, and time. And lastly, we'll come up with a possible future change that will allow athletes to get paid and compensated for their time for their university and the contributions they have made. First of all, a major argument that has maybe become a roadblock for the idea behind compensating athletes is the Title IX argument. And the Title IX means that you cannot discriminate or give less opportunities to anyone based on gender, race, or disability. This means that while a football team at a major college may have 75 full-ride scholarships, that institution has to create 75 full-ride scholarships for female athletes in other sports. And as many know, a football team is very large, and this is very difficult for schools to happen, but large schools have been able to pay their way to have many female athletes become full-ride athletics in many different sports because of Title IX. And an argument behind paying wages to athletes is that there are only a few sports within an institution that are profitable. But with that, the profitability of different athletic departments will allow to pay other individuals a flat rate. Obviously, in most cases, for most schools, the football team is a major revenue generator for schools. And an argument is Title IX will not allow the football team to receive all the money they generate, while a golf team that may have 5 spectators each day in each game, what will they receive? My argument to that is, I believe a new policy that could be implemented is a flat rate established by the university that they can withstand for a year and sign a contract between them and their employee, the athlete, to allow them to receive a wage, to allow them to be compensated for their time, and you will not have to jump over that Title IX roadblock because it'll be a flat rate for every athlete that the athletic department can already receive or already pay out. This flat rate may come as a very hard blow to the university in a financial situation, but these schools are making so much money that it is very doable with a few cutbacks in other areas. While my idea to pay a flat rate and a contract as an employee of the university, along with the scholarship, it will allow student athletes to help better their futures for the possibility of financial distress in the future with paying for rent, paying for food, car payments, insurance. As many athletes and students do know, even if they aren't athletes, it is a struggle to maintain a sense of financial security as a student, and especially a student athlete that has no time to get a job to help pay for these things. And that is where my idea comes from, to pay college athletes a flat rate based on money generated last year from the athletic department that allows them to set that money aside, that allows the athletes to be guaranteed to to be given this money based off the hourly time commitments they have made. And this will allow more people the financial ability to play college athletics, give more people the opportunity, and will allow the sport to grow as a whole in fairness. So in conclusion, we've talked about many problems why the college athlete should be receiving a wage and compensation for their time commitment to the university and the profitability they have allowed for the university. And there are many reasons why I believe that athletes should be paid in college, but my future policy change that I would like to see is a employee-employer contract signed by the university based off their money generated from last year, so the athlete is guaranteed that money almost as a professional athlete, but not in the millions of dollars, because you will need to pay many athletes in the institution. And that is why I believe that college athletes should be paid in athletics today.